Welcome to my podcast, MedWise. I want to create a place where I can help educate and learn about the medical field, and this is a place for that. I'll be inviting experts in different fields of medicine to share their experiences, journey, and wisdom for us to learn. I will use the wisdom shared here to then curate the best literature available for our and your use. Let's go pursue our passion.
Hi, Adray. Thanks for inviting me to interview you about this podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Advait Valetti. I am a junior at Stevenson High School, and I'm passionate about helping other people and helping my own community. And this passion has led me and motivated me into learning more about the medical field and the different options and the variety of professions you can pursue in the medical field.
Yeah, being in the healthcare field myself, I know how diverse this field is, and with plethora of options. So, what do you plan to accomplish with this podcast?
This podcast is essentially supposed to help high schoolers like myself find their own passion in the medical field and make it easier for them to pursue those passions. As a high schooler aspiring to go into the medical field, it was difficult trying to find where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And I'm still going through that process of refining what area or profession I want to go into. And I want to not only help myself, but help other people in hopes of making their own journey easier. There's so many different avenues of medicine, and it gets confusing and overwhelming for most high school students trying to decide where they want to go. And I hope to learn and share what all those different paths are.
Yeah, I can imagine, because you could be a researcher, you could be a physician, you could be a surgeon. I know there are so many different ways that you can definitely make a difference in the community. So for the listeners, how do you think this podcast will be useful?
I don't think there are a lot of services that offer a up close and intimate relationship between their students or peers or the people they're talking to. And especially in the medical field or just like medicine in general, there aren't a lot of services that help high schoolers and kids who are trying to learn about what it is, just trying to like help them decide where they want to go. I don't think there's a lot of services like that. And I think that this podcast will serve as a medium for students like me to decide where they want to go. And I think while there are websites like LinkedIn and like other websites where you can connect with doctors and professions, I think that it is hard and it is overwhelming, especially now when there's a lot of things going on in a high schooler's life. And I think that this podcast makes it a lot easier and accessible for a variety of different people.
And what do you plan to do with these podcasts, and how do you want to make this podcast different from others then?
I think there's a pretty standard formula for most podcasts, but I am hoping to expand this into like a website and not only just the medical field, but all sorts of fields in the future, because I know that this problem doesn't exist only in the medical field, but it also exists in like engineering and like law school. And I think that while there isn't as much creative space as for like as far as a podcast goes, I think there's definitely room for me to expand this into different fields.
That's very good. I'm looking forward to this. And also, what do you plan to name this podcast by?
I think I've decided on MedWise because it combines two of the core values or pillars that this podcast is trying to accomplish, which is just like sharing medical wisdom. And I think that combining those will help accomplish the goal of trying to teach students what the medical field is all about.
Awesome. And thank you so much for your time again, and all the very best with your podcast, Advait.
Thank you.